Okay. Okay. So you are saying, if I can ask your question. If I please, you can ask your question. Okay, so when you're ready, you can start talking. I'm continuing with what I was teaching. Okay, if I can continue. Okay, ask your question.
So I was talking about the second one that you said about the specification of programming.
Yeah.
Per your example that you gave, I was talking about just like filling the form. You give the space, writing the name, the email of the person, the date of birth. You can give it in order as to how you want the person to answer.
Okay. You can. I want to understand your
Yes,
question. You're saying that you can give it to the person.
as to it being specific. So you can give the person how to answer, maybe date of birth, the year, the day, before the month, as in the specification you are saying.
Yeah. So the specification is simply the things you told the person to fill in. Okay, so it's like or the things you ask the person for. So let me give an example. For example, you want to write a program, okay, for the admission form that you fill. Okay, so you don't want a situation whereby we use forms to fill in CUG again. You want us to do it online. Okay, so let's say you fill everything online, and that's what you are done. So what will happen is that if you want to create a program like that, then what the specification you need is take the admission form that we have been using manually to fill, okay, and then with that admission form that we have been using manually to fill, the person will then fill in. Sorry, you use that one to create the program. So wherever maybe in the admission form you have name, you have maybe age, date of birth. These things that you see are what you use as your input, your output. Because if you remember, I told you that in the specification, you have the output, you have the input, you understand? You have all these things there. So all these things are part of the specification. So, for example, the output will be the person should see something like, please enter your name. Are you okay? Then there will be a space where the person will then enter the name. So that place where what the person saw on the screen that please enter your name is the output data. Okay, that you put inside the program so that the person will see you on the screen. Then the space where the person will see, which is provided for the entry of their name, is where the person will input the input data. Okay, will enter the input data. Okay, and that one, all these things you created it in the program. But if you did it logically, you didn't let the space come before you said please enter your name. You made please enter your name come first before the space for the entry. Did you understand? Then after that, you had please enter your age. Then the space for the entry for the age, like that. Please, I hope you are clear. I don't know whether I've answered your question because I couldn't really get your question well, but I think I've tried.
Yeah, that you answered. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. If you have a question, you can raise up your hand. Okay. Good. Now, so I'm going on with the design. I'm saying that in the design, we have you write a step-by-step procedure. We call it algorithm. Okay. And if you want to write it in a form where it is not a code, but it's a false code. We call it pseudocode. So I'll teach you how to write all these. Okay, and then if you want to put it in a form, which I know you have already been pseudocode, you have been introduced to already in fundamentals of computer fundamentals. Flowcharts you have been introduced to, so it will help. It will be easy for you to do it. Now, flowchart is another form of representing the algorithm. So algorithms can be represented using pseudocode or flowcharts. And flowchart is a diagrammatic form of the algorithm. Okay. Okay. That's it. Okay. Then, with that said, then you change it from the design to the real code. Okay. Somebody will ask, why don't you write it straight away in the real code? You can do it. Okay. But always putting it in the design form, okay, is better because it helps you to go back to your design if there's any problem, to check if your design was wrong, especially if it's a very expensive program. Are you okay? Because immediately you start using a language to code it, what happens is that you have two things to check out for. One is that it can be that the logic, when I say the logic, that comes in when you are writing the design. So, for example, the logic, let me give you an example. For example, the example I gave of the form, the admission form that you are creating as a software. You first got what? Please enter your name. Okay. Then the space will come for the person to enter the name. Then you have another one where you have please enter your age. Then the space will come where the person will enter the age. But let's take an instance where you forgot. And then instead of bringing the please enter your name first in the program, in the design, okay, or let's say in the coding, you started coding straight away. And you brought please enter, instead of bringing the please enter your name first, that output first, you brought the input first. So what will happen is that when the person is running the program, you see the space coming first before the message, please enter your name, which is absurd. You understand? Okay. So, and if it's a very extensive program, what will happen is that when you get into the code, you have all these kind of syntax, and it's like it has become a lot of things on you. And you know where to actually do the correction. Because you may even not have, like, bring your mind to it that that's the place where the error is. But it can be that in that particular programming language, if you don't bring a colon like C++, you are wrong. If you don't bring, sorry, a semicolon, you are wrong. If you don't bring curly brackets for block statements, you are wrong. All these things. So if you even make a little mistake, it can be giving you errors, but you'll know that it's that one. And it can be that it's also the logic. So it's better you always write the one which is not based on any language. So that if you are trying to debug, when I say debug, which we'll be using a lot, debug simply means you trying to find the error inside the program. So when I'm trying to debug, what will happen is that you see that it will be easy to find the error. Okay, especially when it's logic, it's easy to find the error when you have written the design. Okay, when you have written the design. So please keep that in mind. Because that with the design, you don't have any kind of syntax error, which I will explain. I know maybe you are already privy to it, but I'll explain better as the course goes on. Because syntax error is when the way the programming language is you are supposed to write it, you don't write it that way, then you have syntax error. Okay, but when it comes to the design, normally because it's not based on any particular language, nobody cares about spelling error, any syntax. It's okay. That's how it goes. It's like, although you can make a syntax error, but it's not that prevalent like when you're writing a language. Okay, so that is the two things you should keep in mind. Okay. If you have any questions, please do ask. I'm not seeing any hand raised. So if you have any question, you can raise your hand. So after this step, you go to the third step, which is the software validation. This is where you simply test the software. If you create any software, you have to test it. Testing helps you to know whether what you have created is doing what it's supposed to do. Please, are we okay? So validation stage is so important. Okay, that is the stage that you test. You give it to people, the people you created it for them to use it over and over for you to see whether it's doing what it's supposed to. Okay, so as I said, that's where you use different inputs to see how all of them fare. Then finally, you have the final stage, which is the software evolution stage. Okay, it's called evolution because we believe that every software that we create, okay, is only a few software that do not evolve. If I put it that way, that is very like 1%. But basically, every software evolves. Okay, just like the instructions in your head evolve or they change. Like you add more to it, you refine the ones you have. In the same way, after testing, you see that, oh, there is this error, there is that error, there is that error. Then you go back, okay? You go back and check whether there's a problem with the design, or maybe you start with the first thing, whether there's a problem with the specification. Maybe you didn't take the right inputs, the right outputs, you didn't check the objectives, whether you are really meeting the real objectives. Are you okay? You understand? You check all these things. Is the processing also okay? You check all these things. Then you come to the design. That's the development, the design and the coding. Did I design the thing well? Is it the steps, are they correct? Did I miss a step, or did I make maybe a third step come to the fourth step? You understand? So you check all these things, and then you get to know where the error is coming from, and you fix it. Okay. So that's what I'm saying, that in the evolution stage, we have two um, separate stages in it. We have the maintenance stage and the documentation stage. The maintenance is where you maintain. So you are testing, you get feedback from the individuals who are using it. Then based on it, you update and make changes, appropriate changes, and make it work better. Okay? So sometimes somebody can even tell you, what about making the software, for example, when WhatsApp started, it was just used for messaging. The reason why WhatsApp was so popular was that it was being used for messaging. Okay. Yes. And at a point, they realize they can't just stick with only messaging because people are using Vibe. I don't know whether any of you know Vibe, okay, or Viber, okay. Um, Skype, I know all of you know, okay. But in the end, people are using all these things for other things like voice call, video call, and all that. So they realize, why don't we also inculcate all these things? Because people were since asking them about it. Okay, so then updated it. So you see that it has evolved. WhatsApp has evolved over the years. Okay, so that is it. Okay, now finally, we have the documentation. So the documentation is where whatever you are doing, you have to keep record of it. So you are keeping record. You first started keeping record at the specification stage, in the specification document, in the design and the coding. You kept a copy of the documents of it. So at this stage, when you tested and you got feedback, you have to also keep records. Okay. And if there's any update, you keep records so that is well documented. And if anything, and somebody that programmer is not there, and somebody takes hold of that documentation document, you can know the progress so far, the changes, and can also do the appropriate updating. So you see that's why when you're using apps all the time, they're telling you, wait, give a comment, wait, wait us. They want feedback so that they can know how well they are performing with that software. So any question up to this point? At least we have gone through the the 4 stages: software specification, where you know the functionality, the constraints, and from there you get the objective, the output, the input data, the processing that should be done on them. Okay, and you put them in specification documents. We come to the second stage, which is the software development, where you do the design and coding. Sorry, design and coding. okay, where you make a step-by-step instruction, an algorithm, take an algorithm of it, okay, and you can put it in two forms. The algorithm can be a pseudocode or flowchart, or can be just an algorithm in plain English. And then after you code it using a programming language, and after that you test it to see whether it's doing what it's supposed to do. You get feedback from the test, and you use that to do maintenance. And by doing maintenance, you document everything down. Okay, so any question up to this point before I go on to my variable? Any question? Okay, please, Christian, you raise the plan, please talk.
Okay, sir, please, I want to ask, let's say I'm a web developer and then I develop a website and then I'm content with what I've done. Sir, hello. Hello.
Hello, please continue. Sorry for that. Yeah.
Okay, please, I'm asking,
Somebody called me
let's
now.
say,
Okay, so please continue.
okay, please, I'm asking, let's say I'm a web developer and then I develop a software and I'm content with what I'm having, but I don't want to evolve or anything. Does it have any negative effects on the software?
A big negative effect. How many of you know? Oh, I've forgotten the name. There's a software which is very popular now, although it is being used. I forgot. It's just like WhatsApp. It's just like WhatsApp. It actually came in Telegram. How
Okay.
many of you know Telegram?
Yes, sir, we know.
Yes, Telegram came before WhatsApp. How many of you know that? Telegram came before WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was not popular like WhatsApp. Why? Meanwhile, Telegram had features that WhatsApp didn't even have as at that time. Telegram, you could even send PDFs on Telegram. You could send pictures, like the things you could send on, no, not just pictures, PDF, all kinds of document files and all that. That time, WhatsApp could not even allow you to even send any documents, only pictures. But the reason why Telegram was failing was that when you get to install Telegram and you are trying to link up, it will be for hours. I didn't know why it was behaving like that, whether their servers were having problems or, but I believe it was then the software issue where you were supposed to make it so much so that it can quickly connect to the servers. Because WhatsApp, the same phone, the same time on the same network with the same amount of data that you have, WhatsApp will be working, Telegram will just be rolling for hours. It's like what? And I realized it was consistent. So when you ask people and they were not on Telegram, I was so surprised. I'm talking about this about like 10 years ago. Okay. Yeah. So when people were not on WhatsApp, I was not surprised. So on Telegram, I was not surprised. So you see, when they started to evolve by making sure now it's easy to connect when you're in Telegram, even still they have a little bit of some issues in that aspect, but it's better now. And what they have done is that they are now forming communities. They are making it easy to form communities where you have like this kind of programming community, this community, and when you go, you can see them instantly and join. So that is what has made they have done other things that is making them catchy now. That's why a lot of people are now also moving to Telegram. Please, are you okay with me? Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
not evolving is a big disadvantage for any software developer. If you like, you check any app that you use which has not evolved, okay, unless the app there is no such app like that on the Play Store or app store or on the net like that. Maybe not that close to it. So people are just comfortable with it. Like that's the only thing we have. So let's use it like that. Okay. But immediately if there's a competition where somebody is developing the same thing as that software, I'm telling you that software will go out of reach. Okay, so that's the thing. When you are talking about software, as for evolution, no matter what, you have to evolve. If you don't evolve, you die out of it. That's the honest truth. You die out of it. So if you have realized every software they want to review, especially the apps. I'm talking about the apps here. See that they are always trying to solicit your feedback. Okay. Yeah. So I always tell people when you're downloading an app, whether on the App Store, Play Store, don't just download app. Go to the review section where people have reviewed the app. Okay, you see critical reviews, you see positive reviews. Based on it, then you download the app or not. Now don't just download the app because everybody should know. Based on that to know whether the app will be good for you or not. Okay, so I believe that question is answered.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any other question, please? Any other question? Okay, so let's quickly go to our. So let me ask a question before we go on. Which stage in the software development process? Okay. Which stage in the software engineering process or software development process is the life source of the whole software? Or without it, the software will just die out. Which stage? Anybody? Okay, Christian,
So please, I think the program design.
are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Please, anybody? Okay, Michael.
Is the program coding stage, the program coding stage.
Okay, so
Program.
Christian, tell me why, and Michael, tell me why. Within
Okay,
1
so
second.
I think with the program design, that is where you basically draw the structure of the code. So you know that where there's a mistake, you can see it and then correct and do any necessary correction. That's why I think it's a program design.
Okay, so let me ask a question based on that. So what if somebody starts using and then realize there's some errors? So when you do the validation and then you are testing and then there are some errors, it doesn't mean you wrote the thing well. Okay, so that's just a question for you to think about. Okay, so Michael, your answer, please explain.
As you said, what is the life? Per your question, it means the program coding stage is what actually brings the software to life. Is if you don't code the program, then there is no software. You can just have the design.
Okay, let me maybe change the. I get what Michael said is very logical and understandable, but that's not the real question I'm trying to ask. So maybe let me rephrase my question so that I understand. I'm trying to say which stage make sure that the software continues forever. That's why I said life source. But you see, life is not stagnant. Okay. So something can bring something to life, but if the thing is not sustained, then it dies. So what makes sure the thing is sustained? So maybe you cannot think about change. Is it maintenance? Okay. Kluche.
So the evolution, the software evolution.
Okay, Emanuela. Emanuela, please, you raised up your hand. Please, you can talk. Oh, it was not Manola. Yeah, it was Manola. Manola, please, you can speak. Hello? Okay, Manola, please speak. Please speak. I can see your hand raised. Please speak. Wow. Her speech is not in activity. So let's go on. So Christian, sorry, Christian, you said evolution. Michael, you said maintenance. Why? Why? Why the difference?
So please, the evolution contains the program documentation and the maintenance. So with the evolution, that is where you get to do the maintenance and then the documentation of the.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Michael, you think it's only maintenance alone, or is there evolution?
I think per Christian's explanation, I agree with the evolution stage.
Good. Good. It's good.
You maintain as you add more features.
I didn't get what you said.
I said per Christian's explanation, I think I will agree with his that the whole of evolution stage, as you maintain, then you'll be adding more features to it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I like the way you're all giving very good, like you are siding with him. Now, the thing is, let me explain why it's not just the maintenance stage. Now, if it was only maintenance without documenting everything, it means that you have anything that you can base on to know if the next time you want to update, like you test. Because when you maintain, okay, you test it again. Okay. So during the maintenance stage, you'll be going you actually go back to the first step. Okay? Check whether everything is okay or there's something you need to add to the specification. Are you okay? Then you go on. So you go on from the first stage, come to the second stage, come to the third stage again. Okay. So when you are doing the maintenance, you go through all the stages again. So if you go through all these things and there are any new developments and you don't document them down in the documentation, okay, then it means that you will not have anything as reference for the next time you want to check and do that again. Are you okay? So the documentation is important when you want to do maintenance. Please, I hope you are clear with me.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like having your history. When you go to the hospital, you have your health history. So if they didn't document your health history, and when you went, they just check, they know, okay, it's malaria. Okay, take this drug, go. They don't keep any records, nothing. They just throw all of them away. The next time you come, they have to now go and check everything. But if they know the history, they can quickly know, okay, this time this is what happened. Now, if it is this, it is rather a severe form of malaria. So we have to do this. Please, do you understand? Yes. Or maybe the person's blood type is this type. So the drug we gave was not the suitable one. So this. So they can know based on the history. But if your history, which is the document, has been thrown away, then you are in trouble. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. It seems our session has ended very soon. um. So any other question before we go? We have 10 minutes more. Any other questions? Please bear with me. Let me just quickly have a last session with you. I promised you this will be the last session, but let me just quickly have a last session until 9 o'clock so that I can finish with the variables and the output input, and then we close. Please. Yeah, please. Okay. So please, any question? Okay, so let's quickly go to the output and input. Now, let me quickly talk about the output input. It's very, very important before we come. Okay, let's go straight to variables before we come to output, so that when you are creating the output input, variable situation. Okay, so let's go straight to that one. Okay, so when we say a variable, okay, I'm sharing the screen with you. When we say a variable is simply a space in the memory of a computer. Now, I'm giving you another assignment. I gave you a research. I know I gave you a research assignment. I'll give you another research assignment. Go and find out what a computer is. The technical definition for a computer. Listen to what I said. The technical definition. Go and find out what a computer really is. Don't come and tell me a computer is anything that accepts data, process it, and output it. That is not a technical definition for a computer. Okay? That's why I said define it. Just like when I'm saying Christian, define Christian. I can say, Christian is a fair guy with a tall guy with mustache. So immediately I say I give these three things. Immediately you see anybody like that, you may think that person is Christian. I hope you're clear with me. Okay. So if I further go ahead and say, oh, he's in the STEM faculty, he's doing computer science or IT, whichever program. So maybe he's in computer science specifically. He's in level 100 summer school. Then I've given a definition of Christian, so that immediately you see anybody with the features I talked about, you ask the person about the faculty, the program, the level. Okay, then quickly you can know that it is Christian or not. This is how you are clear with me. So when I say definition, don't give me a vague definition where anything can fit. So if you tell me anything that accepts process output, then a phrase can accept process output. Okay, so we'll find out what the computer is. It will help us on this course, on the path of this course. So variables are simply a location in the computer memory. Okay? You take any computer. One thing you should understand about every computer is that the computer stores data and instructions. Is that we here? The computer stores data and instructions. So keep that in mind. Every computer stores data and instructions in the memory. Okay? Every computer stores instructions and data in the memory. So you see, let me take your phones for example. You see, when you are using your phone and let's say you want to clear, you can actually click on the all programs button, okay, or swipe through program button, and you see that you see all the programs that you have opened, okay, you have launched and it's running, and you see all of them. Now you can clear some of them and leave some, right? Now, when you are doing that, what you're actually doing is that you are clearing them from the memory, from what we call the random access memory. Okay, so every computer, one unique thing about every computer is that every computer has a RAM. That's what makes a computer different from other electronic devices. It has a RAM. Okay, so that RAM stores instructions and also stores data. Okay, okay. Now, those instructions and data are there so that they will be sent to the processor for processing. So when you are writing a program, okay, you create spaces that you create spaces that will be created in the memory so that in that places in the memory, data can be stored there. Then the instructions will pick the data, okay, and then it will be processed in the processor. Please, I hope you are clear. Is it clear enough? Let me use your mind as an example, your head as an example, or your brain. As I'm speaking to you now, if I tell you all that I've said, from the beginning of the lecture till now. Okay, tell me verbatim, word by word, sentence by sentence, commas, spaces, everything that I've said. You can do it. But if I tell you to just give me a summary of what I've said, you can tell me. Why? Because whatever I'm saying now, you are hearing. So everything I'm saying, you are hearing, but you can't tell me verbatim. Why? Because everything I'm saying now is in your RAM. Okay, it's in the part of your head or the RAM, if I'll put it that way, or I'll say the temporal location in your head, in your brain. Then what is happening is that you take it and then you send it all over. You send it over to the place where you are supposed to process, and then you process it, filter it, do whatever you're supposed to do, and take the one that is necessary based on the instructions that is coming. Okay, because as I'm speaking, what I'm saying is such a way that the instructions and data together mixed with it. So when you is there, you process it and keep the one that is important based on the instruction, and then filter out the one that is not important. That's the same thing that happens. Are you okay? Okay, so the spaces in the memory in the computer, okay, which is created in the RAM so that data can be stored there, whether it is an output data or input data, is what we call variable. Please keep that in mind. Now, in programming, any language you use, any programming you do, there is a norm or there is a convention, okay, on how to name variable. And when you are giving variable names, we can also call the variable name an identifier. Keep that in mind. A variable name can also be called an identifier. Okay. So that convention is what we want to look at. How variables are named. What are the do's? What are the don'ts in naming a variable? So let's look at some of them. Our session will end very soon. Let's look at some of them. Okay. So, and there's one last thing I want to bring to your attention. Whatever you put inside a variable is what will be there till you bring another item. So if I created a variable and I put the letter A there, A will be there till I bring B to replace it. The minute I bring B to be stored in that same space, it will not store both A and B. It will store B instead. It will kick out A and store B. Please, this thing is so important. This point I'm making is so important. It's in your slides anyway. Okay? So keep in mind, that's the last point I said. Variables can be used to store one type of, sorry, not the third, this first point here. Variables can hold one item at any point in time. Keep that in mind. Variables can hold one item at any point in time. Okay. So we'll call it a day. Sorry, we'll call the session will end very soon, and then we'll just continue with the next session. So please keep that in mind. Variable can store one item at any point in time. When you bring another item, it will take out the first one and store the latest one you brought. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. So, any question? So join for the next session as quickly as possible when this one.